Our goal with rental housing is to have a healthy rental market, and that's a vacancy rate of about 3% or higher. That means that landlords are able to rent their places and tenants are able to find a place to live, and there's some flexibility in the market. Oh yeah, there are lots of good options to travel in BC and to find affordable places to stay in the province, and so I really encourage people to have a look. Check out our BC tourism website. Okay. And really we do want people to visit British Columbia and to travel across Canada, support the Canadian tourism economy. Like, we can't just have an immigration system that swings between, unlimited immigration, no immigration. We need to ensure that we're growing our economy. We can support people who come here. We can continue to benefit from a sustainable immigration system as we have for generations. And I'm hopeful we'll be able to do that with the new Prime Minister.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to DARPAN Chat Central. We've got a very special guest with us today. It's none other than the Honourable Premier of British Columbia, Mr. David Eby. Premier Eby, most welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. It's
yes,
great to be here.
Thank you for taking the time. Lots going on in politics. We're very, very close to a federal election. As a Premier, what would you like to see with whoever is the next Prime Minister? What is something that will be a focus for you?
Well, it's a very consequential election for our province and for our country. And so, when we're facing threats from the president to our sovereignty, to our economy, to our water, you name it, we really need to make sure that we're all voting in a way that supports growing a strong economy here and standing on our own feet and standing up to those threats. So I'm just encouraging everyone really just to get out and vote. And for the new Prime Minister, regardless of who it is, that Prime Minister needs to call together all the premiers on day one, work with us to get rid of all the internal trade barriers, so we're one country when it comes to services and goods, and also work with us to respond to what the President has already done in our provinces, using the resources that come from the tariffs that have been put on U.S. products. So for us here in BC, impacts on the softwood lumber industry, for Ontario on the auto parts manufacturing industry, and making sure that the responses fit the impacts that we're seeing here.
Okay. All right. I don't know if you got a chance to see the soccer game yesterday.
No, I didn't, but I heard all about it. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
and it was
exciting.
Quite something. And, it just got me thinking that Vancouver is the host city for the FIFA World Cup next year.
Yes.
And there has been consideration from you in revisiting the short-term rental regulations. So just wondering, it's a marquee event. Fans are probably wondering where they're going to go. It's going to bring a lot of tourism into the city. So what are your thoughts on that?
So our goal with rental housing is to have a healthy rental market, and that's a vacancy rate of about 3% or higher. That means that landlords are able to rent their places and tenants are able to find a place to live, and there's some flexibility in the market. We have some communities that are 3% or higher, but certainly not the majority. And so until we hit that level, we're going to ensure that those short-term restrictions are in place, but it's not meant to be forever. It's meant to be a measure to protect rental housing when there's a shortage. We're building a lot of rental housing in the province. We want to build even more. Hopefully we have a strong federal partner after the election that wants to build more rental housing with us, so that we can really deliver the housing that people need in the province, both for rent and for purchase. And so, I do understand that the short-term rental restrictions are going to put pressure on people who are visiting Vancouver looking for a place to stay. But the priority is on the people who live and work here and who run the tourism economy. Are going to run all the stands at FIFA. And because we're hosting here for two reasons. One is to promote us internationally and welcome tourism, but of course, it's also for British Columbians.
So do you have a timeline on this?
It's not a timeline, it's a target in terms of vacancy. Okay. So it's 3%, and built into the legislation is flexibility for communities that hit that level to opt out of the rules.
For people who are not wanting to do some summer travel into the U.S., yes. They are wanting to stay here and maybe travel locally. The hotel prices are pretty up there as well because everyone's trying to manage in these uncertain economic times. So what do you say to those folks?
Oh yeah, there are lots of good options to travel in BC and to find affordable places to stay in the province. And so I really encourage people to have a look. Check out our BC tourism website. Okay. And really we do want people to visit British Columbia and to travel across Canada, support the Canadian tourism economy. There are many, many short-term rentals that are available, even under the restrictions that we have. So if that's an option that you and your family like, and it's certainly one that my family likes, then it'll work for you. The short-term rental restrictions are in major centers, big cities in the province. Many of the tourism-dependent communities are not affected by these rules.
With that said, the tariffs are creating a lot of talk in the real estate sector, of course. And the BC Real Estate Association has been advocating for easing the foreign buyers ban. So just wondering if you're looking into that at all, what sort of, line of thinking do you have there?
So, one of the issues that we were trying to address with the foreign buyers restrictions, there's a federal foreign buyers ban, but we have a tax, a speculation vacancy tax, was people buying up homes and leaving them vacant as investments. And so the goal here, and one of the issues that the industry faces, is the capital, the money they need to actually build, the investment, whether it's to build rental housing or to build housing to sell. So what we're doing is we're looking for ways that we can have capital come into our market, including foreign capital, to build housing, but in a way that doesn't increase costs for British Columbians and doesn't reduce the availability of housing. And there are ways to do it. We have a project in Vancouver, the Heatherlands. It's an old RCMP station, where government will have one mortgage, and then the person who buys will have another mortgage. And because government has a mortgage on those properties, the purchase cost is about 30% lower. And we think once we prove out this model, this is how Singapore builds housing. Once we prove out this model, we'll be able to have private investment in that first mortgage and then delivering affordability for people. This is a way that capital can come in, provide more affordable housing for purchase for people, and increase the availability of housing, not reduce it. And the same with rental housing. We do think there are opportunities for investors to build purpose-built rental housing in the province using foreign investment. And so we're working on those ideas because we understand there is huge pressure on. We need other ways of building housing that support development of the homes we need as our population continues to grow here in BC.
And do you have a timeline for this particular?
Yes, our this first project on the Heatherlands will be going to market in the coming months. And so our hope is that once we prove that model out and we see hopefully success and sell those models, sell those units, we're going to be able to partner up with the private sector to do that. The rental housing policy work is happening right now.
All right. One thing that I was kind of disappointed by when I came across that the grocery rebate has been cancelled.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
It was something that a lot of British Columbians were looking forward to.
Sure.
Would have supported households. It was especially during such trying times where affordability is such a key issue that keeps coming up.
Yes.
So how are you wanting to now? What sort of measures are you wanting to have in place to make life more affordable for British Columbians?
Well, we put that one-time measure on hold. It was a commitment we made during the election before Mr. Trump began his actions to attack our economy. We need to keep that space in our budget to be able to respond to threats and opportunities. One of those opportunities that came up is the federal government, when Mr. Carney was sworn in, changed the rules around the carbon tax. That allowed us the space to be able to move immediately to remove the carbon tax. That supports individuals in the province as well as businesses. And it's the kind of thing that we were looking to do that provides a longer term support for people around affordability right now. We're going to continue to look for those opportunities to support people. Things are changing so quickly, and predicting where we're going to be 6 months from now in terms of our economy has been challenging. So we're focusing on, we've got 18 major projects that we're pushing ahead faster in the province to grow the economy. That's ultimately going to create the space for us to provide additional relief for people in terms of costs and taxes that they may be facing. We had a bigger than expected surplus at ICBC. Providing that back to drivers with a rebate is another example of how we're trying to find those ways to support people right now.
Okay. Interesting you brought up ICBC because it's something that was referred to as a dumpster fire by you. So what are we doing there with ICBC? Are we looking to change the model altogether at some point in time?
Yeah, so you'll remember we did big changes. Now I guess it's going on about 4 or 5 years now. And got the public insurer on much better financial footing. We've had flat rates for the last 3 years. We have some of the lowest rates in the country, some of the best benefits. It's not a perfect system. There are people who have been left out, or there have been impacts unanticipated in one group or another. So part of the change, when we made the big changes, we committed to do a review. That review of ICBC is happening this year. Gary Begg, who's our public safety minister, his ministry is leading that. we'll be looking for feedback from people. How have things been working? Was there an impact that we weren't expecting? Right. And doing reforms to ensure that we're continuing to meet the needs of British Columbians with affordable insurance, as well as support if they're in a collision.
All right. Infrastructure is huge. And during the reign of the late former Premier John Horgan, Surrey was so looking forward to a hospital for its residents. Mm-hmm. So still we're just wondering, Surrey Memorial Hospital is at capacity. We definitely need a new hospital. So what's happening with a hospital for Surrey?
Yeah, well, it's well under construction. And also on the Surrey Memorial site, a new kidney care, renal care center is under construction as well. And we're working on the business plan for a new tower at Surrey Memorial Hospital. Also, we have the new medical school. We'll be opening soon to take in students. I think that's probably the most critical piece, is training up those family doctors, those medical professionals that are going to be staying here south of the Fraser doing work in community to take pressure off the emergency room at Surrey Memorial. But things are moving along. I'm not happy with the results we've had south of the Fraser. We've changed leadership at the Fraser Health Authority. And our goal is to ensure a high quality service no matter where you are in the province, including south of the Fraser. And despite the huge population pressures, it's not an excuse. We need to deliver high quality care for people here. So
when do you see this hospital up and running, like fully done and ready to go?
Yeah, I think we're still a couple of years away from open and staffed and all those pieces. So the interim pieces we put in place at Surrey Memorial, we've added more than 140 additional doctors at Surrey Memorial, somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 nurses. That's a facility that's under a huge amount of pressure. The staffing makes a big difference. The renal center will make a big difference. The cardiac cath lab will make a difference. It's not going to be solved overnight, but we are making progress to improve care south of the Fraser.
You mentioned it's still a few years away, and of course we're going to see a more boom in terms of population. Has all of that been kept in mind to serve the Surrey residents? Because that's just going to, the momentum is there in terms of growth.
Yeah, and it's not just Surrey, it's the entire lower mainland, the Metro Vancouver region. We have St. Paul's, the new St. Paul's that will be coming online in about 12 months to 18 months. We have the expansion at New Westminster that'll be coming online in that period as well. We have the expansion of Burnaby. So it's not just the Surrey sites that we're expanding. We're expanding all across the region to support this population growth.
All right. And I know immigration is something that, we take a lot of pride in. So we're just looking at the BC numbers with the provincial nominee program. There's so much fewer than what was promised to us. So it's really disappointing. What are you hoping? What sort of talk are you hoping to have with the feds on that end?
Yeah, here's an area where we've been asking the federal government pretty clearly, give us more provincial control over immigration. Right. We think we can do a better job of it. And then in the dying days of the Trudeau administration, we saw our numbers that we have control over, the provincial nominee program, cut by more than 50%. Right. It was very frustrating. It was one of the first topics I raised with Prime Minister Carney when I had the opportunity to meet with him. He's expressed a willingness to have a look at that with us. It has huge impacts for us when we are unable to provide citizenship to people that are here on a temporary basis, that are working in our healthcare system, that are working in our daycare system, that are professionals that are providing needed skills and trades, that here scientists in our tech sector. It has an impact on our economy growing, on the services we can deliver. So it's hugely important. And I'm very hopeful. We can't just have an immigration system that swings between, unlimited immigration, no immigration. We need to ensure that we're growing our economy. We can support people who come here. We can continue to benefit from a sustainable immigration system as we have for generations. And I'm hopeful we'll be able to do that with the new Prime Minister.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.